today I was really asking the Lord what we should be doing, and I'm kind of excited about what we're going to be talking about, even though I hope you guys will be as excited as me. I don't know. Um, but we'll just see what the Lord shows. I'm very excited because of the
Mm.
journey that I've been on and I'm going through, at the same time as all the ways that the Lord brings us through what we struggle with. And so, anyway, we'll be talking about some good inner and outer healing. We're going to be doing some body healing stuff today. So, hopefully, it will be awesome. All right. So, let's start out, you guys. Let's engage the heavenly realms together and let's just see where he's leading and what's going on and if we can involve any of our favorite beings. Okay. All right. All right, ladies, let's focus back here. So, can you share anything that you experienced while you were engaging?
I experienced something. Um, I saw God. He was sitting on a throne and he was wearing his crown and he had a staff in his hand. And I saw I guess it was the heavenly beings surrounding the throne.
Mm.
And then, but then there was an angel that was standing with me. And so I asked him because I heard you stated ask. So I asked him, I said, well, who are you? And what are we doing? He said, he is not forgotten. And I was like wondering, man, is that his name? Or is that what you who like I didn't get it, but I think his name was I am not forgotten.
Oh.
And then so I said, well, what is God doing? And God was remembering his children today. So I
Mm.
was like, huh, okay. He said he was remembering his children. So I mean, I think I saw more stuff than that, but then I started getting sleepy too. So I don't it was a lot. It was good though.
Awesome. Thank you. That's cool. All right, who's going next?
Um, when we first start engaging, I saw a horse with hair, a lot of hair, and I saw myself, and I think others is actually riding on the horse, but the horse has actually got long hair, and but the hair is being used for something for our body. Um, it's sort of like you know, it's a bit weird. Now how you put cinnamon in the tea, good in that does good for the body. And then I saw number 333 and number 111, and that need to be added to a cup or a tea with the cinnamon and that hair. It is something for healing. And then I asked the Lord, okay, because I was listening to Christine, what she was talking before about the diabetes, and I said, I was just curious to actually where it's come from and where, and I got it's got sort of like three, like she lived three lives or something, or three generations, and she's getting it from that, or you're getting it from that. So I need to engage more about this one for you, um, and I think these numbers is in cinnamon and whatever it is actually for us and for you, Christine.
Okay, so let me tell you a couple things. First of all, the Lord recently has been showing me something very similar with what you were talking about when it comes to the root of all of the diabetes stuff for me and how it is um actually it's interesting because it's both that you were talking about. You talked about kind of these other lives and then also these other um generations back kind of sort of thing. um and so what he was showing me is that, I mean, we've talked about this. I hope you understand it's not the same concept as reincarnation that Hindus believe in and stuff. But it's like we have different layers of who we are in different places and different times. And so he was showing me that, and then he was also showing me a couple, I don't know how many generations, so this is helpful to know, like three or something. Um I knew I had diabetes in my family, but not type 1. And type 1 is different genetic thing. It's an autoimmune disorder and all of that. And so anyway, it's different than type 2, which I knew was in my family. And so anyway, it's good to know that the Lord has been speaking that to me this past week and a half about really healing the past. And so that's what I've been kind of working on and focusing on and all of that. And the tea that you're talking about, I mean, I'll just say this. I know for type 2, cinnamon is really helpful. For type 1, it's not. But that doesn't mean that what you were seeing in the spirit wasn't very helpful, because the Lord has shown me a lot about what's called covenant tea that he has had me do, that is basically, it has all these different things in it in the cup. I know it's strange to talk about, but I take it in the spirit, and I have forgotten to do that recently. And so he was, when you were saying that, he was reminding me of that. And what it's doing, it's like making covenant with the ancient ways. I don't know if that doesn't really even say anything to you, but it's really meaningful to me. And so the
Yeah.
things you were talking about, it's exactly right. There are these different things in kind of the bottom of the cup. And anyway, it's very helpful to me. So thank you, Myrna. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Yeah, the hair of the horse, it's got something to do with it. We need to put it in a cup
Yeah.
as well, mixed with something.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Pearl?
So I just want to do this little preamble before I share. And that is, because we are learning to ask questions, what I'm realizing is that the Lord will show me one thing, and then I ask a question, and then my awareness of that thing gets bigger, so I see something else, and then my awareness gets bigger, so I see something else.
Yes.
So the first thing I saw was this green light. And I kept focusing on that green light. And then I asked the Lord about it. And then he showed me this like massage table. And either myself or someone on the table, but I want to say someone on the table. I asked about that as well. What is this about? And I had an awareness that we are now in a classroom where we are training to do massages. So the green light was the healing. Okay, so know how oftentimes we find it difficult to find words to explain spiritual things that we're seeing. So I want to say the sense I'm getting is that this green light, it's probably a frequency or it might be an oil, but deep down I have a feeling that it is just healing. But I'm not sure what's bringing the healing. And this green light, when I asked about it and about the massage table and someone being on the massage table, what else is there? My awareness was now enlarged. So I'm seeing a whole classroom. So it's all of us in the classroom. And it looked as though it's a training session where we are learning how to do massages. But we didn't have a hands-on class. The green light is that which is going to be used to either massage people's body or heal people's body. But we're not seeing the green light do anything. The mere fact that you are lying there and this green light is surrounding you, is all over you, whatever the frequency, the sound of, or the vibration, or the purpose is within the green light, that is what is going to be doing the healing in the body. So basically, we are all on a training course about how to heal.
Really? that's awesome. Actually, part of what the Lord was showing me that I am teaching about today is that stuff that you're talking about. And so, anyway, that's exciting. I'm excited that you saw some of that. That's cool. Yay. All right. What else, guys? Amanda, were you in the void?
No, actually, I was with Yeshua, and we were dealing with some things that the Father told me lately, and it's been really hard.
Oh, is it something you want to share about, or is it too private?
It's not too private. It's just, um, I know in the past, some people really don't like agree with this, but um, there was this thing that I read. It was about broken prayer, and I always felt like if God asked me to break me, then it was extremely painful. And I'm feeling like this is something that I'm gonna go through again. And it's just breaking ties with a lot of things and it's kind of hard because it's like, it's kind of like everything that I thought was for His glory seems like I was wrong about it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm still exploring it and engaging over it and just talking to the Father about it because it's like, I don't know. There's just so many feelings, like, was my life in vain? Was it everything that I went through? Um, was it not what I thought it was? Was it not what I felt like the Father told me it was? And so it's been really difficult just processing through the feelings and really understanding and knowing if I feel like what He's asking me is actually what He's asking me to do. So,
Sorry you're going through that. I know
yeah.
how difficult that is.
Mm. Amanda, while you were talking, I sense that you are actually in three different places. I'm not sure if this is your body and your soul and your spirit, like in three different places. I feel like it needs to be coming together, like the fragment. That's what I saw. That pieces needs to actually come together. So yeah, so we can pray for that one.
Yeah, when I was engaging, I saw because I usually see my spirit, um, and then it'll be my soul and then my body. And, it was my spirit. My spirit was really tall, and then my soul was a little bit shorter, and then my body was a little bit shorter. And we were all embraced, everybody was embracing each other from behind. And just really talking to Yeshua about it.
Hmm. Well, I'm excited for your journey, even though you're not. I know it will be a blessing, even if it's hard. And you've got
Yeah.
people here along with you if you need extra help. I know how hard it is to sometimes discern clearly when your emotions are high like that. And I mean, I'm
Yeah.
like that. Anyway, I assume everyone else is, but anyway, if you need help with that, then we're here,
All right. Thank you.
of course. Mm. All right. Anyone else want to share? I know that Patricia came in late and is driving, so I'm not sure she would have anything. Lorado, did you get anything when we were engaging? No? Okay. Well, how about let me share a little bit about what I experienced. Well, the Lord started showing me a lot of different things, but one in particular that I think is important for everyone to know and engage is I saw this certain angel I've never met before. And she was just doing this really large spinning. And I could tell that's like how she moves all the time, is how she spins, spinning like this. Okay. And she is a healing angel, but not any that I've seen before like that. And I was really trying to press in, like, why are you spinning? Like, what is this? What's going on? And she showed me that when we engage her and she spins with us in the spirit, it somehow helps our spirit. I don't know how to explain. It's like it helps our spirit be at a frequency that our bodies can feel easier. And so, which is interesting because today, one of the things that we're going to talk about is that in a way. But it's like we need our body and our spirit to be able to communicate better with one another. And so that's part of it. So just know you can, I don't know what her name is. Okay, I'm sorry, but you can engage with her, especially today. I would, even during our class, like right now, kind of just ask her to help um engage with her a bit. Okay. Actually, just spend a minute and do that. Okay. Okay. All right. So, um, today, the main thing we're going to talk about, I say main thing because I know that the Lord's doing more than just this, but the main thing is about listening to our bodies. And we're going to be talking about listening to our bodies with our spirit. So basically, we want a full on communication between spirit and body. Now, in this case, it's always good for our soul to be one with our spirit and our body. But we're going to be more of an observer with our soul than interacting in, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to talk about several things that the Lord has been doing in me lately and that he has done in the past, and things that he's reminding me of. He's done a lot of things with me in healing my body that I have learned along the way, and I have a tendency to forget along the way as well. Okay. I'm just going to be honest that I will learn some great things, work for a while, and then totally forget it exists. And then the Lord does something and brings it back up and goes, hey, remember this? And so, anyway, that's what he's been doing a lot lately with me. The covenant tea thing was one of them. That's one of those that, like, he showed me a while back, and I was very consistent with doing that all the time. Actually, when I was with Yahim, it was something we did every Sabbath together. And then when we weren't together anymore, it kind of, I forgot about it. It's like, because it wasn't habit all the time. And, we do that sometimes with different things in our lives. And so we need to really be able to focus on what the Lord is leading you into currently. Okay. So, like, for me, some of these things from the past are coming back up. Other things are new that I'm working through and learning about. But I was just sharing before we started about some of my recent journey with type 1 diabetes. And if you know anything about it, already I'm having a little struggle. Wow. Okay. If you guys would engage over me right now, I'd appreciate it. I'm getting a little bit lightheaded. Okay. That'd be great. Anyway, I don't know if you guys know much about this disease, but people say it's incurable. Okay. They're always searching for a cure for type 1. And if you also know about me, you know that sort of thing doesn't faze me at all. Like, I already know, because I've been through I've had many diseases that have supposedly been incurable, that the Lord has done a miracle on and gotten me out of completely. And so I know he can do it because he's done it so many times in my life. And I don't remember who I was meeting with lately. Oh, I was meeting with Fair. Many of you guys know Fair, right? I was meeting with her, and I said something about how, of course, I've been healed so many times in my life. And she goes, you have? And I'm like, oh, yes, I have like a million testimonies about this. And she goes, wow, I didn't know that. And I'm like, really? I figured I tell these stories all the time, And she said, you really need to, like, make a recording or write a book so I can just read these and be encouraged. I was like, well, that's nice. I think I should probably do that for myself. But anyway, I really have. I've had so many things that have been chronic illnesses. And, they say chronic, that means lifelong, you don't get over it, kind of thing. And things that the Lord has said, actually, no. And he's either helped me heal them naturally, or he has done a supernatural work to heal them. And either way, it doesn't really matter to me, because for me, he has shown me how his creation, he has put a part of himself in all of creation. And so whether it's some natural thing he's leading me to, or it's something that he does with his power, it's really still with his power either way. And so to me, it's all supernatural. It's all natural. It's all supernatural. It's all combined, because he is the one who created it all. And so I don't really make a fuss about what kind of miracle it is. Okay. But I do know that what he does is he gives us supernatural wisdom to know what we're supposed to do, both in the heavenly realms and on the earth. And a lot of times it's combined. I'm going to give you a quick example. Um, so there is, you guys have heard me talk about drinking the living water, right? That this is something that the Lord has led me to do a lot. But he's led all of us probably in engaging times to do this. But the river of life is something you can hop into, soak in, do all sorts of things in. You can also ask Yeshua to give you the living water to drink. Sometimes he'll pour it over you. Sometimes he'll soak a wound in it. All of this, right? And so one time, a long time ago, the Lord told me if ever I am eating, to eat from the tree of life. And when I'm drinking, drink from the living water. And so when I do that in the earth, I do that in the heavens when I remember. Okay. And so, yes, that's right. I don't always remember, but when I do, it's so funny. I do it way better when I'm traveling, because that was the major warning when he first gave it to me, was because of witchcraft and stuff, to avoid it. And so, he said, no matter if there's a curse in there or if someone's trying to poison you, it doesn't matter. It'll be good for your body if you do this. So I was doing that before a lot when I was traveling, and then I come back and I do it, but I don't always remember now. And so I try to, when I'm with my family, I remember a lot more, because we kind of, instead of praying before meals, if you will, you know how a lot of people are like, Lord bless this food to nourishment our bodies, whatever, that sort of thing. It's fine. But we don't do that. So we intentionally just engage with the tree of life and the living water and all of that. So we're eating from the Father when we're eating, and we're thankful. And we always share like what we're thankful for the week or for the day or whatever. Okay. And so that's what we do when we eat. And so it's easier for me to remember at those times. But if I'm like grabbing a protein bar or something because I need to get a quick meal in, I hardly ever remember. I'm just going to be honest. But what has happened when I do that is it truly is nourishing for my body. The other thing is River, who's not here today, but one of the things she does, which I think has been really cool to see, there's this balance oil that we take. By the way, I'm going to give a quick shameless shout out to this balance oil. It has been awesome. I've been taking this balance oil that is for balancing your omega-3s and omega-6s, and it has been awesome in helping with inflammation. But River started taking this, and she said, wow, this just feels so life-giving to me that every time I take it, I am literally drinking the living water when I'm taking it. And it was so cool to hear her say that. I was like, wow, I've never even really thought about that with my supplements and stuff. And it's the same thing, of course, but I never think of it. And she says she does it every time. She just feels like it's so life giving to her body. And I was like, that's brilliant. I need to do that, you know? And so, anyway, we can do things like that where we are partnering our bodies with our spirit in what we're doing for it. The other thing is, I'm a big, I don't know if I would say proponent. I love testing things with my body and the frequency of it to see if my body needs it. And I do this so often that now it's very second nature to me. And I do it with all the supplements I take. I do it with the foods I eat. I do it with oils that I need, whatever it is. Even with different things like, okay, here's an example. This is just a little fragrance, a bath and body fragrance or a hair and body fragrance. Okay. It's not natural. No, it's not. It's just one of those that someone gave me. And so anyway, this is called coconut skin. I love the smell of it. But that doesn't mean my body wants it. So I will test things like this to see, is this okay for me to have? And one of the things, there are different ways to test. Some of you know these things, some of you don't. And so I'm just going to share it all, take it or leave it. Okay. So, basically, our body, different organs in our body carry a different frequency. Did you know that? Yes. And so there are certain oils or foods or whatever that carry the frequencies that those different organs need. And so that's why you find, like, oh, let's say, okay, I'm trying to think real quick. Okay, so like here, basil. Basil is a very common antibiotic. Okay. So this is an antibiotic oil, just naturally. So what this does is basically it fights off stuff in your immune system. It helps your immune system fight things off. That's what it does. So this carries the same sort of frequency that your immune system needs to be optimally fighting off sickness. Okay. So this is a little different than, for instance, let's see. I'm going to go with orange. Okay. Orange essential oil. It comes from oranges, so oranges. A lot of people know orange. Oh, orange has vitamin C. It's going to be good for your immune system, right? Orange does so much more than that. Orange is one of these things that is really good for purification. It's really good for even anti-anxiety. There are lots of things that orange is good for. And so you think about these things, and what it does is it works with different parts of your body that need these things to function at an optimal level. So if it's an anti-anxiety sort of thing, how do you think that helps? Probably helps your heart rate, probably helps your adrenals. Maybe it helps your parasympathetic nervous system. It gets your body into a rest and digest mode instead of a fight or flight mode, right? And so there are things like that we can know with our minds they do, but how do you know what your body really needs if the Lord isn't telling you? Okay, so you need to pay attention to what the Lord is saying your body needs. You need to pay attention in the spirit. And then you also need to be paying attention to what your body's speaking. And they can work together. And so what I do with something like this is I will stand up and I will hold it in one hand and put my other hand on top of it. And I will usually close my eyes because I like to do that to focus. And I like to not kind of manipulate things. And so anyway, I do that and I figure out, is my body tipping toward it, or is it tipping away from it? Or is it just kind of staying the same or going side to side? So if it's tipping toward it, it is saying, I need this frequency. It is like a magnet. And so it's like going, yes, please give that to me. If it's going away from it, it's saying, please get that away from me. I cannot do this right now. If it's staying the same or kind of moving back and forth, it doesn't really matter. It's saying, it's fine. It's fine if you do this or not. And so anyway, this is something I have learned is very helpful. Okay, I got to tell you a kind of funny story. I don't know if you'll find it as funny as me, but my memory, I tell you, I laugh at myself all the time because of the silly things I forget. But I'll be like walking into the kitchen going, why the heck did I come in here? I have literally I know it was 2 seconds ago, but I do not remember. Okay, so the other thing is I don't have to. Okay. But the Lord is leading me to take like all of these different supplements and a couple different medicines. I'm not a fan of medicine, but I'm being obedient to the Lord. He's saying I need these certain medicines now. And I'm going, okay, Lord, if you say they're life-giving, I'm going to believe you. And so anyway, I have to take all these different things. And um, at night, especially, is when I have to take like a lot of different ones. And I'm going through, and I have a list even on my phone and reminders to take them, which is great, wonderful. Except for when I'm doing it all, half the time I forget, like right after I take something, did I take that or was I just going to take that? Did I already take this crap? And I'm like freaking out because some things you can't mess around with. So, like, one of them, I have this blood pressure medication that if you don't take it, it's a really big deal. You have to wean off of it. Okay. And if you do take it, but you take too much, then it's a really big deal because you're going to make your blood pressure drop too low. And so inevitably, I'm like, I take the blood pressure medication and then I think, wait, did I take that? Or am I supposed to take that? Crap. Which did I just do this? And it's like 2 seconds later, I still can't remember if I just took it or if I was just gonna take it. And so anyway, the best thing is that I can take that bottle and I can hold it against myself, and my body will tell me if I need more or if I need less. Like, okay, don't take any more or you need more. It's so cool to be able to do that because my body is saying, I have enough. I can't do any more than that. And then, or it's saying, go ahead, you haven't taken it yet. I need this right now. And so it's really cool to be able to communicate with your body, even if, like me, I'm having a little, most of the time it's just distraction. I can't even call it a memory problem. I think I'm just distracted with everything I do. And I'm like thinking a million things. But whatever the case is, I can do that and my body can communicate with me its real need. And I can, in my mind, I might think, I need this supplement every day, this exact amount. And my body is saying, actually, I got enough of that in the food you ate today. I don't need any more of that. Or, hey, you need a lot more of this right now because you're really deficient. My body will speak to me in this way and show me I need more or I don't need it. And so I go through different phases and even daily about these different things that I need. And so for me, I have learned to listen, that this is important for me, that I can go, man, I should probably take electrolytes with my mind. But instead of eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, like this is good for me, this is bad for me, then I'll go, okay, is this good for me now? Lord, is this life-giving? And so I'll be like, oh, it's life-giving. Done. Drinking the electrolytes. Okay. Which it is very life-giving to me today. But that nutrition drink Zeal that I take, love it. Today my body was like, nope, you're good. You don't need any more of that. And so I didn't take it today. I'm also going to test later in the day and see, do I need it later or am I still good? That's something that I need to pay attention to if I'm really trying to feed my body what it needs and not just what my mind wants. Okay. Because my mind wants tacos and I'm just going to be honest. I need all the cheesy goodness. That's what my mind says. Give me the chorizo and the cheese. Probably half of you don't even know what chorizo is. Okay. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I am feeling like I need a taco in my mind, but my body is saying, please, I'm desperate for spinach. You know what I mean? And if I'm good to my body and I care about my body, I'm going to give it spinach when I'm craving tacos. Okay. Because I'm paying attention to what my body needs more. And I'm getting in line with the frequency of my body instead of just the kind of, I'm going to call it fleshly, even though I feel like it's actually not flesh. It's just this mind craving that we get for things. You have a mind craving for Oreos. You never have a body craving for Oreos. You know what I mean? I'm just going to say that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think our mind craves this a lot. Now, sometimes the Lord He will tell me to eat things that I think you don't eat. Okay. So there have been times when he's like, Chris, Oreos, go have the Oreos. And I'm like, but Oreos, you know, and this is kind of how I felt about the medicine actually when he first started telling me to take the blood pressure medication and the insulin. These two things, I was like, no, no, I'm not. That's evil. Okay, I do that. I have made in my mind that these things are bad. And the Lord is like, no, this is life giving for you. This is good right now. And so he can do that with anything, whether we think it is good or bad. He will show us what our body needs and also sometimes give us what our soul wants, because that's something that he's trying to please us with too. So we just need to be paying attention to these things. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about that really, it's not even I want to, the Lord's leading me to talk about, was something that Pearl was talking about earlier. She was talking about this in the engaging time about the massage and the green light and all of that. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know about how different colors carry different frequencies. Do you know this? Different colors carry different frequencies. I even have glasses that you wear, like green ones or red ones or whatever. And it's because what it does is it actually works with different systems in your body. Like the green ones are awesome for detoxing your liver, things like that, right? There are certain things it's really good for. Also good for your kidneys. So the green glasses are wonderful. That's a green light. But the cooler thing is when she was talking about the massaging, like the massaging with this, because there's something the Lord led me into that is, I'm going to say, similar to people call it Reiki. Okay. I don't practice Reiki, but it's similar to that. And it's just what the Lord has led me into. It's not a certain thing I've trained for or anything like that. Okay. But I don't know if you know, but we have an energy field right basically from our skin that comes out of us. And our energy field varies person to person, like how big it is. Some people's like 15 feet, some people's just a couple inches. Okay. So it just depends on the person. Mine is really about 3 feet most of the time. It varies too, even time to time. It's not always the same all the time either. But like for me, most of the time it's around 3 feet. When I'm really, really sensitive, it's much larger and it's harder to control for me. Okay. So I have a very easy time picking up on people's energy. And I think it's part of it is because of that, because I have kind of a larger energy field. And so it's easy to pick up on other people's energy. And when that happens, good and bad things can happen. I can let their energy affect me and my body, which actually happens a lot. And I'm not proud of that. It's something I've had to practice not letting them affect my energy. Or I can affect their energy. And so, with intention, for me, I can let my energy and the spirit's energy affect them. And so, one of the things the Lord showed me, it was kind of by accident. I've always been a person who the Lord will lead me to lay hands on somebody. And when I lay hands on them for healing, I've shared this before, how I'll get like this pain in my arm. Remember me telling you this? I'll get this pain in my arm, and then the Lord is showing me that I need to heal someone. So I lay hands on them, and then the energy goes like out my arm and my fingers into their body. Well, the Lord was saying, hey, you need to heal this guy. So I go over this guy and he goes, just come right by his skin. And so he's showing me, just come like here. Okay. I don't know if you can see that sort of thing. And I was doing this, and all of a sudden this heat started to like get really hot. When I was doing that, I'm like, what's happening? And I'd never experienced that when I was healing someone before. And it started getting really, really hot. And he started having major healing happen there. And that was kind of the first time that this happened. And I was going, okay, God, I don't get it, but I'm trusting you. And, I'm doing everything by faith, not because I have any understanding on it. And he started doing this more and more with me. And almost everybody then that he told me to go heal, he would have me. It's basically kind of like a massage on their energy. And so that's why when Pearl was talking about that, I'm like, that's funny. The Lord wanted me to talk about this. And what's happening is I am being open to the Holy Spirit moving through my body and basically affecting the energy field of the person who I am healing. And I don't ever even understand what's happening, except for I know that I'm releasing a certain frequency from heaven, but I don't know even what that frequency is, how to heal. I really don't have any understanding of that. I'm doing everything by faith. But what I am doing is I'm going, okay, Lord, I'll do this. And what I learned a little bit later is something. Have you guys heard of the raindrop technique with essential oils? Anybody know about essential oils? I don't know. No? Okay, well, there's this thing that's called the raindrop technique. And it is, let me just demonstrate if I can. Well, I'm not going to do it with that one. It's too thick. Let's do frankincense. Okay. This one is making me happy today. I can feel it. So, okay. Anyway, a raindrop technique is where you get about, 2 inches maybe. I don't know how far that is in metric stuff, but about that far where my pinky is from my hand. Okay. And you do a drop of oil from there instead of rolling it on or something. And what happens is it hits your energy field first and then goes onto your skin. And it does something with your whole body when you do that. And it is really interesting. You can feel it much differently. So experiment with that. If you have an essential oil or anything like that, experiment with that and see how that works when you drop it first from up high. It's not high, but about that far. And you drop it and you start to feel it. Like I can feel it in other parts. Like when I did that, I felt it especially go across my shoulders, which is interesting. Especially this shoulder is one that I've been having trouble with. So something is affecting me there that I need. And so it's really cool to see how our body, it's how we were made as energetic beings. Our bodies, the whole language it speaks is energy, frequency. And so it will speak to us in what we need. And this is why grounding is so important. When you go outside and you ground and you touch the trees and you put your feet on the bare ground, you're getting a frequency that your body can resonate with. And this is something that we have unfortunately put ourselves in environments of pretty unhealthy frequencies. So most of us are surrounded by Wi-Fi. This is something that we're all the time around. We get our phones are on us all the time. So we get this frequency from our phone all the time affecting our bodies. There's lots. I mean, for me, I live in the United States. We have chemicals everywhere. Oh my goodness. Cleaning supplies have chemicals. Foods have chemicals. Perfumes have chemicals, all these things. And it's really hard for us to avoid it. It's really, really hard. And so because of that, our body is always getting kind of these frequencies that are messing with it. And it's causing unhealthiness and disease. And so what we can do is we can go, okay, Lord, what do you want me to do for my body today? So we are helping our body. That's why I take these oils. The other thing I've learned, which I know I taught Pearl, do you remember in England, yes. Okay, when I was there, I taught everyone there at one of our retreats how to start to be sensitive to test things with your fingers. And what you're doing is you are putting your finger in the energy field of that thing. Okay. So I'm putting it right above, like there. Okay. And I'm putting it right above there. Ooh, wow. So my body says already cinnamon leaf I need. See, Myrna was right. Okay. So cinnamon leaf, my body is saying, yes, please. And so when I'm doing this, what I feel is like it's like a vibration. It's a tiny vibration that I'm feeling. And when you feel that vibration there, if you get sensitive, which you just have to pay attention, okay? It's about learning to pay attention. I have done this so much that it's easy for me, but for a lot of people, it takes practice because they haven't practiced that much. It takes practice to pay attention. Oh, wow, I do feel that little vibration in my finger. Oh, I don't really feel anything on that one. Oh, I do on this one. And then you can kind of test if you're right by doing this sway test that I was telling you about. Have you guys done it's hard for me to show on camera, but where you put your arm out and you do this to see if it's strong or weak? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yes. Yes. Okay. So that's another way you can do that. It's a very simple one where if you're struggling in some way, you don't know if you need something, you do this and it's like someone can push your arm down really easily. And if you need something like the cinnamon, for instance, I would hold this and have them do it again. And they like can't push it down very easily at all. Okay. Cause now I have strength. What happens is your muscles become strong when you have the frequency that you need, and it's weak if you don't. And so this is just something that naturally happens to everyone. So you can test it with you and your kids or your friends or your family or whatever. And you can see, whoa, this is like really legit. This is a big difference. One, it's like you can push it down, no problem, very easily. The other, it's like, are you even pushing? It feels like they must not actually be pushing right now, because your arm is so strong. And it's so cool to see. We can test ourselves just by doing those things. And we can see if we're accurate on how we're feeling. So you can practice feeling that frequency. When you practice feeling that frequency, you can start to do this with lots of different things. And you can feel the frequency of something, not even by, it's like this. This is a really funny thing. I was really surprised when the Lord told me to start doing this and I found it was accurate. But he's shown me if I look on a menu and it's just words, it's not even the food isn't there having the frequency of the food on the menu, right? But the words are there and the frequency is there. If you put a word there, it will still carry the frequency of what it's talking about, which is wild. Have you guys seen people do this with infusing water with these different frequencies? It is so interesting. It is so interesting because you can literally write a word and the water carries that word. If you write a word like on a piece of paper like this, and then you put your glass of water on top of it like this and you let it sit there for a while, it will infuse the water with the frequency of what that word is. It is wild how this works. It is supernatural to me. I know it's actually natural, but I don't understand the nature of it. But it's so interesting how that works. So when the Lord told me to start doing this on a menu and using my finger to test the frequencies, I was like, can I really trust that? I don't know. I didn't understand how it could be. And so he just said, do it blind. And so basically, not blind, but basically, I'm not looking at what I'm doing and I'm just feeling frequencies. And then I'd feel something that was like a high frequency. So I'd stop on it and go, oh, that is something that I would want. And then the next thing, oh, interesting. my body really has been craving that stuff. And it's so interesting to see how it really does resonate with your body and what your body needs and what your body wants. And so I would say test that stuff out. Don't have to believe me on it. Go test it. See if that happens to you, because it is just mind blowing to me how my body can even communicate with words on a page. Like I'm not reading it with my mind. My body is doing it. It's so wild. Anyway, interesting, very interesting stuff. But when we do this and then we partner with what's going on in the heavenly realms at the same time, then all of a sudden everything becomes really life-giving to us. So we talked about eating from the tree of life. Did you know on the tree of life, there are different kinds of fruit that grow on the tree of life? It's not just like one fruit that comes from the tree. There are lots of different kinds. If you go up higher in the tree, there is more, I don't know how to say, kind of like complex fruit up in the higher parts of the tree. So sometimes you're led to climb the tree and get to some of the higher fruit that is for more complex things. Also, the leaves of the tree are for our healing. And so sometimes you're supposed to just eat the leaves. There is this, I'm going to call it sap. It's really the essence of the Father that is inside of the tree that looks kind of like golden sap. But you can literally eat of him with this sap from the tree. And there are all these different things. That's just the tree of life. That's just like one little part of heaven, okay? Is the tree of life that can bring all of these different kinds of healing to our bodies, to our souls, to our minds. It's amazing. Amanda said, that reminds me of olive tree leaves. I don't even know about that. So olive tree leaves are healing? Is that what you're saying? I didn't know that. That's cool. Did you know that this one that I was just doing is cinnamon leaf? So this is different than the cinnamon bark. So there, it is interesting how different parts of plants and even in the heavenlies, how they do different things for us. It's so cool. But there's so much more. I mean, so much more. If you want healing from the Lord, ask him, what should I do in the heavenly realms for this? Like, just say, hey, would you lead me to something? He might, I mean, there is this ship that's on the river of life that I go to sometimes that has all these different kind of places on the ship that do different things. Some of them do these like transfusions. Some have these different technologies I've never seen before anywhere else. It's amazing, these different things that we can engage in the heavenly realms that we don't know anything about in the earth, that we have not gotten there yet. And so we can go and ask for this. A lot of angels have different technologies in their wings that they can give us for healing. Different people have that too. And so there are all sorts. If you find someone like me, okay, I'm a healer. I don't know if you know that. Hopefully you get that since you're in a healing course with me. But I am a healer. I heal in a million different ways because that's what the Lord has shown me. But when you come to me for healing, it is not going to look like anything else. Okay. You won't get it from anyone else like you get it from me. At the same time, if Myrna's a healer, it's going to look way different than what I do. And you're not going to get anything else like you get from Myrna. If you are expecting only to have hands laid on you and pray in tongues, I mean, you're not going to get that from me. I might do those things, but I'm going to do a whole lot more. You're probably going to feel fire from God, okay? Because that is a thing for me. I'm a fiery being. So you're probably going to feel the fire when you're being healed. Not all the time. Sometimes you're going to feel like you're soaking in living water when you're with me. Sometimes you're going to start hearing a horse name because my unicorn is with me and Sapphire is helping heal you at the same time. You might be led to drink something, and all of a sudden you're getting this honey oil that's being released into your body that starts healing from the inside. Might be times that the Lord says, no, you need to get these certain essential oils and you need to anoint this person with these oils. And it is amazing what the Lord will do. It is so cool to see how he does it differently every time. And we have oftentimes made healing our bodies into a formula. Eat these things, don't eat these things. This supplement will heal you. Which these things are only partially true. Lay hands on people, pray over them. These are true, but they're just not what the formula is. Okay. We've tried to make a formula out of it all, make a religion out of it. And the Lord is like, hello, that's not what I'm doing right now. Remember when he told that old man in the scriptures to lay on top of that little girl to heal her body? If I had some dude say, hey, I'm called to lay on top of your little girl to heal her, I'd be like, where's my gun? Okay. I'm just going to admit that that would be really hard for me to take. Yes, that's how the Lord is doing it. Because what the Lord tells us to do doesn't make sense to our human minds. It really doesn't half of the time. He will say, go dip in that river 7 times. And you'll be like, really? What is that going to do? I don't understand it. And the Lord says, just go do that. And we have to be obedient to whatever the Lord is leading. And so that's why when we are working on body healing, that we be open to what the Lord is saying for us to do with our bodies, as well as what he's saying to do in the spirit. Because just laying on a girl without actually engaging in the spirit isn't going to do anything. But laying on a girl while engaging in the spirit will cover her whole body in healing. I mean, amazing what that really did. It released that healing frequency all over her body to revive her. It is so cool to see how the Lord will do that. And we would never think of such a thing. And so, anyway, I guess the whole point is that we need to start learning to communicate with our bodies, to see what our bodies need, to pay attention also to when our body has pain. When your body has pain, you need to ask the Lord, is this energy that needs to be released? Or is this something that my body's trying to communicate with me about a problem? Okay? Because most people, I don't actually know where this comes from. Please, you can give me scriptures if you have them. But most people in the church say pain is evil and it must go in the name of Jesus. Right? And they think of it as an evil thing, as an attack. But that's not what the Lord has shown me. The Lord has shown me that if there is pain in your body that's not supposed to be there, it's energy that has built up or that was sent to you that needs to be transformed and released into the kingdom for healing. That's what he has shown me. He has also shown me to not ask for pain to leave, because a lot of times pain is the way that my body communicates with me. And it's saying, I need attention right now. And it could be something that is like, hey, you need an essential oil. But it also could be, hey, you have some stuck fear in here that won't leave. So if I am feeling pain, I need to go, Lord, can you just show me, is this my body trying to communicate with me? Or is this something I need to have you take and send out of my body? And really, we need to not just cover things up with the painkiller. I'm this is my opinion, please. You know, I'm not a doctor, but I don't think it's wise to cover up pain with a painkiller. If you are tempted to take Advil to get rid of your headache, I'm just going to say maybe you should ask the Lord why you're having this pain first. Okay? Ask the Lord, why am I having this pain? Is this pain my mind, my brain, the stuff around my brain? Is it trying to communicate something with me? Is this my body? Or is this something that I need to release that you can take from me? Or do you want me to take the painkiller? Okay. Like, I'm not saying you can't ever do that. Just ask first, please, about why. Half the time, the Lord's like, yeah, you just had caffeine for 3 days in a row and you didn't have any caffeine today. So, of course, it's going to be swollen up, you know? And so then I'll be like, right. Or he'll be like, you need water real bad. Please go drink water. You know, something as simple as that can be the cause for my headache. It could be something even worse. It could be something that, you know, this happened even with our friend Lisa Gwynn, who she was having these bad headaches. Well, she has brain cancer. And she found out she had brain cancer. But the Lord also showed that she had this pain starting to build up before she had brain cancer. And she didn't know what to do with it. And it caused disease. And it caused that to come because it wasn't being released. When she first started learning to release it and to start healing with that, it was amazing how fast all that pain would go. It's so cool to see how the Lord will change things. But we have to pay attention. Okay, now I was just keeping this pain in my body for 10 years. So, of course, I'm going to have disease in my elbow because I kept that pain there, you know? I just didn't even think that it would be communicating with me or that I needed to release it. So let's just come a step higher and ask. Pain isn't always something that is negative. It can be something that can be useful. It can be useful. And actually, every single thing, every attack we ever get can be useful. I'll say that. Doesn't mean it comes from the Lord. No. But can it be used by the Lord? Heck yes. Yes. Everything that is meant for evil can be turned around for his good. All right? So, this is what we need to ask. Okay, this struggle I'm going through right now, whatever it is for you, okay? What do I need to do with this, Lord? If you're getting a lot of witchcraft attack, go, Lord, is this witchcraft attack? Oh, it is? So what am I supposed to do with it? When he first showed me that I had a witchcraft attack, that I was supposed to transform in my body and send out for healing, I thought, what? How does witchcraft work for the glory of the Lord? And he just said, it's because your bodies are made to transform the energy. Your bodies are miraculous. That's what they're made for. And so even if it's sent to you in a bad way, it can be used for your good or other people's good and his glory. So let's just ask, what do I do with this? Instead of getting depressed about all the stuff that you're hurting and why your body sucks, you need to go, wow, my body's amazing. My body can transform this. My body can redo this. I mean, this is what I'm doing even now. Like, it's really interesting. You know, I told you that I have type 1, so I'm insulin dependent right now. Okay. So my body doesn't produce insulin on its own. So I have to take insulin to help it function. Right. Well, I'm telling you, this has actually really strengthened my relationship with the Lord to go through this. it'll sound strange, I'm sure, but every single time I take insulin, I don't know if you know about how this works, but you have to figure out what exactly you're eating, how many carbs it has, what is your carb to insulin ratio, how much exercise have you had recently, do you have, what are your hormones doing, what's your stress level, what's your sun exposure, all of this to factor in how much insulin you take. Okay. That's what a normal person has to do every single time they eat anything. Now, for me, it's a little bit easier because I have the Lord. And so what I do is I go, hey, Lord, how much insulin am I supposed to take? And he shows me how much I'm supposed to take every single time. I ask every single time. I get an answer every single time. And I'll be like, is it this much? And he'll be like, more. Okay. How about that much? Okay. Okay, good. And this is what I do with him. And my relationship with him is strengthening all the time because I'm paying attention to my body and I'm also paying attention to him. And I have thought so many times, how do people do this without him? Like, how do people actually survive this without the Lord? Because without him, I would not have a good idea. I wouldn't. And it's so amazing to see that even through our struggles, he uses it to build us, to strengthen us, to show us more of who he is. And so I am thankful that I'm going through the struggle, even though I would love to kick it to the curb. I am thankful that I'm growing through the struggle because that's what these struggles in our life are for. It's to help us grow and then help other people. That's the whole reason you go through anything. That's why Yeshua went through a whole bunch of stuff so he could grow and he could help other people. He did it on this massive level. He said, we can do all these things and greater. If that's true, I want to be one of those people that does it on a massive level. I want my struggles to be worth so much that I learn through the temptations of the enemy in the desert. I want to be the person who learns that stuff, grows through it, and says, no, I came out on the other side better. Right? I hope you guys are getting something. Everyone's looking a little bit bored or not even on camera. So I have no idea if you guys are getting. Karen says something. Oh, you're muted, Pearl.
I'm trying to adjust the light level where I am because I end up being like a silhouette if the light level isn't. So I've just put the ceiling lights on and I've walked around to put lights on in the house.
You
So
look
you can
great.
actually,
It's
you can
normal.
so you can see me properly. And I've moved to the edge of the sofa now, so I've got more light shedding on my face.
Well, you look wonderful. It's fine.
Okay, so I just want to share then in that case a couple of things. So when you asked us to engage the vortex or the thing that's going round and round that you saw,
Yeah.
so I kind of like saw that at first because the word that you use painted an image of what that thing is like. And as I focused in, the Lord showed me it was transformed to a DNA strand. And I said, what's the name of it? Because you mentioned it's a healing angel or something. You're not sure of the name of it.
Yeah.
And even before I asked the name of it, I got the word twister. And I'm saying, but Lord, twister is not a positive name. But obviously, with God, he can turn what's negative into positive. And he showed me that I think so I can see this DNA strand. And as I zoomed in a bit more, it's like every cell within that DNA strand, obviously, it has its own message or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure about these things. But even in between these, let's say cells, for want of a better word, there are spaces. And I sense the Lord saying that that is his spirit. So it's like he's interacting even in minutiae of the spaces between each cell in our body. And that's why we can truly say that I'm one with him and he's one with me.
That's so cool.
So in that twisting or moving or whatever, a frequency, a vibration, a sound is being released within him. So, and I can't remember the other parts of it, but as you were speaking, there's something else that came to mind in terms of pain in our bodies. So 2 weeks ago, I kept feeling like this pain in my body, but there was a knowing that says, it's like, oh my gosh, I've got cancer. It just feels like cancer somewhere. And it's like, and obviously, not obviously, when you hear things like that, you start to kind of like wig out, don't you? It's like, ooh, what is this? But a lady got up to share, and she said she has not been transparent to the church, but she's dealing with something. And instantly, the Lord showed me that the discomfort I was feeling was her
Yep.
discomfort. And it's like, I don't want to be feeling other people's pain. I've got enough of my own.
I enjoy it. Can I tell you that? I really do. I enjoy feeling someone else's stuff because it's like oftentimes I can feel things even they ignore in their bodies. And then when I feel it, the Lord every single time will heal it. Like there's never a time he lets me feel somebody else's stuff that he isn't wanting to heal. And so to me, it's like, oh, exciting. Even though, yeah, you're feeling it, but it's like, wow, he's going to heal this right now. That's what he's up to. And so I love it. I think it's really
Well, it's interesting because obviously it's the first time, and I obviously didn't know what to do about it. But in my head, as I'm talking, I'm hearing you saying, ask the Lord about it. I said, oh my gosh, okay, Lord, ask the Lord about it. And then the Lord reminded me when I was in my early 20s. I remember saying to the Lord, Lord, as a part of healing and being sympathetic towards someone, let me feel their pain. I also did the same not too long ago because I wanted the Lord to use me. But now that that's come in my body is not a comfortable feeling. And it's like, oh, did I really ask for this? Do I really want this? But I need to see it as an honor in some way. And it is me learning now how to walk closely with the Lord. So we detect through discernment, is this my pain or is this someone else's pain?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let me give you a word of advice. I don't know if you did anything about it at the time since you said you didn't know what to do.
No, I didn't. No.
Okay. I would say it's urgent for you to ask the Lord what to do with that and to do it. I mean, when I say urgent, like as soon as possible. When we're off of this, that's what you're doing. Okay. Because when you feel other people's stuff, but you don't deal with it and you don't heal or whatever, and send that energy back to how it's supposed to be, it causes disease in you. And it will be, especially because that was one you're a little scared of. That's one you need to deal with quickly so that doesn't manifest in your body. Okay. So try to, especially, I would say this is a good word for everyone. When you are feeling something like that, especially when I'm in a group of people, if I start feeling something in my body that I know is not normal for me, so like if it's a back pain I've been feeling for 20 years, I'm not probably going to question it. Okay. But if it's something like, oh, I'm feeling hip pain, I never feel hip pain. Instead of going, why am I having hip pain? I go, Lord, is this someone else's? Who am I supposed to heal? And immediately go into who am I supposed to heal? Okay, what do you want me to do to heal it? And you can probably heal that person right now from where you're at. You may not need to touch her or anything like that. If you do, then just be diligent to do that quickly. Okay. But really, you can probably send this to her now, the healing power of the Lord or whatever, and get her healed. So anyway, I just wanted to give that little word of advice because that's important.
So a couple of days ago, I was speaking to the Lord. Usually early hours in the morning is when I engage most clearly with him.
Mm-hmm.
And as we were engaging, talking about things, the word healing came up. And I think I was talking to him about angels because last session I wasn't into like, well, I'm not sure about these angels and such like. So I was talking to the Lord about it, and I wasn't sure whether it was a being or whether it was an angel. So I think the Lord is beginning to explain to me the differences between the two. So in this encounter, the Lord was showing me like, okay, so I'm trying to find the right word to say. Um, long story short, I just had a knowing based on like a sensation, and the sensation was named, and the Lord saying this, I literally can heal. And immediately he gave me the name of, I'm not sure if it's a being or if it's an angel, but somehow because I was questioning him about the angel, I wasn't sure about angel. It's like the name I got was Margaret. So like my healing angel is called Margaret, which is weird. And because it's the first time that has come to me and I have not had this encounter with him, my natural instinct is like, okay, so where can I confirm this, Lord? Where can I go and do this? It's like, you need to confirm this to me because you know what I'm like. I don't want to be misled and I don't want to be saying strange things. An angel called Margaret who heals is like that. So the fact that we're dealing with healing things today, and the Lord showed me that a couple of days ago, I think I'm going to take that as a yes by faith.
I mean, here's what I've learned about different beings and different angels. I have in the past really been like, is that a real name that I'm hearing? That sounds strange or whatever, right? And um the Lord has confirmed so many times in strange ways that they're real that it's shocking to me every time because I think it has to be something I'm making up, you know?
Yes.
Um but man, it has been really interesting. One time I was meeting with this guy in South Africa. I always say that when I look in Lorano. Anyway, I was meeting with this guy in South Africa, and he sensed that he had an angel, but he wanted us to find his name. I hate that. I'm like, oh God, what if I get this wrong? I can't hear. Well, I do all these things in my head when someone asks me that. But I did anyway, of course. And so I'm pressing in and I feel like I'm sensing the name because I don't really hear, right? So I'm sensing the name Yaakov. And I'm like, what in the heck? That is weird. Why would I think that? And I know like that's a Hebrew name that's the same as Jacob. And so then I'm like, why would that be? And so I'm like, I think I'm getting this wrong. So I got to press in again. So I'm going again to try to, and I'm still sensing Yaakov. And I'm like, okay. And I said, Kobus, that's the guy's name. Kobus, this is going to sound really weird, but this is what I'm hearing that his name. And okay, before this, we saw that this angel was an angel that was part of, it's like an angel who was assigned to his dad and his grandpa and all of this. And to him, like it's kind of an angel that's been passed down, if that's a thing. And so, anyway, so I said, okay, Kobus, this is what I'm sensing that the angel's name is Yaakov. And he goes, oh, no way. I'm like, what? And he said, that's my middle name. And that is the name that is passed down in my family is Yaakov. And I'm like, really? I had no idea because I call him Kobus, and this name Yaakov is this family name, and of course it was a family name because that was the name of the angel that was assigned. Anyway, it was just so cool to see how that was a thing. And of course, I'm sure his family didn't know that that's why they're feeling the name Yaakov. It's because this angel's here with him all the time, you know? But how cool is that? And I was questioning myself all day long on that one. Like, no way, I'm making this up, you know. Anyway, it's really interesting. Another person in our class, when we first started the ministry class, there was someone in the group who talked to me privately and said, this is really weird, but I feel like I can't tell if it's an angel or a being, but he said his name is Skip. And in my mind, I was like, really, Skip? Okay. And she was kind of doing the same thing. And I was like, okay, I'm sure it's Skip because you heard Skip, you know. And so then later on, another person who was in the class talked to me privately and said, I know this is strange, but I've been feeling like my dad who's passed away, that he is in our class. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, his name is Skip. And I'm like, no. And anyway, it was really cool to see that that's what, you know, these two things that went right together. And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. It's real. And so it could be Margaret. I'm just saying, Margaret is probably right. Anyway. Okay, I'm sorry I went on a tangent that doesn't really have much to do with healing, but you guys, do you have any questions on any of the stuff that we were talking about today?
I wanted to know, so if you're feeling pain, can somebody else or can those around you pick up that pain as well? Like even if they're
100%.
not,
Even if they're not believers, if they are empaths at all, I mean, which you're kind of born that way. If they are an empath at all, they very likely will feel that. I know that was something my mom felt all the time, and she wasn't a believer. Mm-hmm.
yeah, me and my mom were like that, very in tune about things with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not a person, this is my dog. And I think that she's feeling my pain in her leg.
It very well could
And
be. If that's the
I,
case, I would ask the Lord about healing, healing her, healing you, whatever, it's probably connected, and to make sure it doesn't transfer. You know what I mean? That bad stuff
yeah,
isn't transferring. And
yeah.
it could
I
be
think,
you're feeling her pain too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think this was a really important teaching for me because I feel a lot of people's pain, and I feel their energy. We had this guy that came in for an interview, and by the time he left, I could feel like, that little, the frequency being that you were talking about earlier. I felt like I was just like, I could feel his nervousness. I could feel his energy. He was just like bursting, and I was like, oh my gosh, to deal with this. But now that you talked about it, and now that you talked about expelling or getting, letting that pain go, or asking Yeshua to what to do with it, because
Mm-hmm.
there have been some pains that I've like ignored in my body,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to ask about those pains.
Yeah, for sure. I would I would definitely ask the question, is this something I'm supposed to send away, or is this something that I need to deal with that's happening in my body that my body's trying to speak to me about? Um,
Hmm.
the same with, is this somebody else's? That's another thing I should have added before when Pearl talked about that stuff. I'm like, right, there's that too. Um, in fact, I work with this doctor here. Some of you know him, Dr. Frank. I work with this doctor, and I was in there one time, and he was working on me, and I started feeling this stuff in my arm, and I'm like, that's so weird. I haven't dealt why am I having more stuff? This is what I'm going as he's testing me and everything. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second, are you okay? And I talked to him, and I said, does your arm hurt? And he said, Actually, yeah, I was in this like four-wheeler accident and I'm actually not doing well. And I said, yo, you need to can you call in Dr. Craig in the office and have him come in and test you? And so actually we came in and he started doing work on him and got him cleared out. And then I was fine. And so I was picking up on all his energy when he was there because he was working on me. And so even those who are like trying to help can be actually causing you some stuff too. Or maybe you're supposed to heal them. And so, anyway, it's pretty interesting if we are open in our bodies, which I think there's a good way to be open and a good way to have boundaries. When I'm getting healed by someone, I'm very open. So I'm very open to the energy coming to me to heal me. And so, and also communicating my energy, if that makes sense. And so, um, but at the same time, I can leave myself open to their junk. And so we just have to be careful what we're doing and make sure that if we go into somewhere and we know it's going to be like if you go into a hospital, for instance, I would make sure that you have your spiritual boundaries up around your body so you're not catching a bunch of crap from people. A lot of demonic things, a lot of sickness, all of that. You don't want to catch all that unless the Lord says go heal them, of course. And by all means, do that, but make sure that you're not going around different places. If you have a family gathering and you know your family's screwed up, like put your boundaries up, in the spirit before and make sure that you're covered and that you're not open to all of their junk. That's another important factor with this. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions before we quit?
I had a family gathering yesterday. I had about 70 people at my house.
Whoa.
It was a belated birthday celebration for Andy and I. And there are lots, obviously, of people here. And I didn't put my boundary up. I did kind of like pray God's protection over the house a couple of days ago. But today I'm feeling really quite tired, quite drained, obviously, partly because I've been preparing for that day. So seeing that I didn't put my boundary up before, is it, would it be, what's the word I'm looking for? So if there's anything, for example, that has attached itself or anything like that, would it be just as easy to just release whatever it is now?
The longer you wait, the harder it is. Okay.
Okay.
So do it soon. The same
Okay.
thing with like the healing stuff we talked about earlier. Same
Yeah.
sort of thing. Just release it back to the Lord, like kind of sweep it off of you. You can do the
Yeah.
same thing with your home, and just sweep it off of you and release it back to the Lord. Release them, basically. You're releasing them back to the Lord to have Him deal with it. And so that's what he leads me to do anyway. You can ask him what to do, hey, is there anything else I need to do to get this off of me? He might be like, yeah, jump in the river of fire real quick. I mean, who knows? I would just ask and see. Yeah. Lorado.
Hi, I just want to ask, the energy thing, when they say that, there's this saying back at home when they would say, do not leave your clothes, after you take them off, leave them around because there's an energy in your clothes and there will be stuff that might come at night and go through your energy on your clothes. Question one. Question two, uh, question two, um, let's say you sleeping with a family member in the bed, they might not be saved or something like that. Is it true that the energy between the two of you, let's say you sleep in the same bed, rotates or can affect you as well, or you can be exposed to it? for an example, you sleeping on a family member's bed, and suddenly you dream stuff. I slept on a family member's bed, and she believed in other stuff like sangomas and witchcraft and stuff. I got attacked where I felt like, I don't know, my spirit or my soul was being pulled. Part of me was pulled under the bed, and it felt like I'm dying. And I jumped off and I went to my grandmother's bed, which the bed were in the same room. On the other bed, I didn't experience that. You know, when you're visiting and they tell you where to sleep, that was the situation. And then the third question for me is the massage. People who goes to massage and then they apply oils on you. There's one for the Chinese here, and then they put their Chinese oil on you and massage you. What's your intake about that one?
Okay,
That's
so
all
all of
from
these
me.
actually have a very similar thing and answer, I would say. So when you are allowing other people to touch you, you are allowing their energy and also their junk to come to you if you are not putting up boundaries with the Lord. You can protect your body and your spirit beforehand, but if you are like going for a massage like that, I would only go to who the Lord leads you to go to. I would never go to a random person. That's like me. It would never be good for me to go to a random person because I would pick up their junk. Like it would be pretty easy because I'm submitting myself to their hands, if that makes sense. The same if like you go to church and they're like, oh, let us all lay hands on Pearl. This has happened to me a million times. Okay. Hey, let us all lay hands on Christine because we're sending her off to Africa. Well, I get all sorts of weird people laying hands on me. And it is something that the Lord has shown me. I have to protect myself in the spirit when that happens. Because their intentions are good, but some people's junk comes to me like that. And it can come to anyone. It can really happen to anyone. And even with good intention, like your family. Like with me, my mom is technically a believer, but she still mixes a lot of stuff, you know what I mean, with old weird ways. And so I love her. I will hold her hand. I will hug her. I will kiss her. That's normal in my family. And I will do that with her. But when I do, I am intentionally covering myself before because I don't want her stuff on me because it does transfer very easily, especially because we're family like that. So I have to make sure it's very simple. I don't have to go through a big ritual. I just am like intentional about it's kind of like a little, I don't know, shield comes up or something. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what happens with me. Um, so I do that with everything. The clothes thing, if you maybe I guess that could happen. Clothes hold energy too because there are different fabrics that carry different frequencies. So um it can be that like clothes would carry something for sure. I know a lot of people put witchcraft on clothes just by touching it and things. And so I know that that can happen. Um but I wouldn't be scared of that. I would just be pretty clear like this is mine. No one can touch it. I've had to do that before when I was being targeted a lot. Um, I would have to be like, okay, I'm not allowing this to come back into my home to be a part of me, anything like that. So I don't know if that makes sense, but Anyway, okay, you guys, I'm sorry to do this, but already we're supposed to be starting Kingdom Builders, and I saw someone get on and then get back off before I could let them in. So we're going to be engaging the Heavenly Realms with the Kingdom Builders. If you're a part of that, stay on and we'll do it together. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.